Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I was definitely going to say something different there, and I just about saved it. Welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Sunday, the 26th of January. It is the Sunday night show. It's myself and Keith, because Shawnee and Emma are off doing different things, and it's none of your business what they do. All right, so that's the way it's
Don't
going to go.
fucking ask.
Yeah, what are you asking for? So me and Keith are going to look after Sunday night, following Liverpool's 4-1 win against Ipswich at Anfield yesterday. If you haven't seen or listened to the post-match reaction show, it was Chris, it was Ashley, and it was Matt. And that's available to watch on YouTube or listen across all your podcasts. And you can watch it on Spotify as well now. So there you go. We're the best boys. Keith,
Absolutely.
how are you?
I'm good.
A
Good.
weekend of non-Liverpool drama. They don't
Yeah.
come around very often, do they?
No, they don't. It was pretty routine stuff, wasn't it? It was just like, yeah, just in and out, great. Other drama elsewhere, like, but Liverpool, just lovely. Lovely bit of game. I wish you could play Ipswich every week. Be great crack.
Yeah, it would be great crack. We'll get into the
Not
game a
for
little bit.
them.
No, not for them. No, absolutely not for them. We'll get into the game in a little bit. We'll get into players. We'll get into, I suppose, I really want to talk about what Liverpool have to do from here, how we are feeling about what they
Yeah.
have to do and will they do it. We definitely will get into that. But on the game itself, I found the left back selection interesting. Because Simicast plays at Brentford.
Mm.
He plays against Lille, and it seems to me like Slot has gone to he's really decided now I'm going to alternate these players. Maybe give them 2 games in a row each, and then drop one out. He may get to the stage where he just plays one week, plays the other, but he's definitely, it looks like a rotation thing at left back now.
Yeah, it does. And look, it's probably not a bad thing. We all love Andy Robertson, right? No shame in admitting that he's one of our greatest ever left backs. But you can see with him that he's maybe struggling a bit. His reactions are a little bit off. And I don't think it's a situation where you just play him through it. I think the rotation will help Robbo, certainly for this season. And Simicast, in fairness to Simicast, he's played very well when he's come in. Do you know what I mean? Like he's looked strong. It's like anything, Gav, isn't it? Players need games. You know, if you drop a player in, similar to Queevy and Kelleher, when you drop a guy in and you give them one game every so often, you're not going to see what they can do. But when you get an extended run, and I think Simicast has looked this season like a very capable deputy, and that's not damning him with faint praise, to call him a deputy, because realistically, he's not going to be our main left back into the future, but he's certainly been able this season to step up. So it's a position where I'll be totally honest with you. At this moment in time, I'm probably a little bit more nervous when I see Robbo on the team sheet. But I think games like yesterday, you can't ask for sort of handier run than that. But yeah, interesting. I think it's one position where we will see a lot of rotation. Maybe the most rotation in the team from here on in. I think it'll be one or the other every couple of games.
Is it telling for you that he's doing the rotation? Because look, we've called, not just us, but a lot of people that support Liverpool, whether they're on fan channels or whether they're just your mate in the pub, have been banging on about we need to, rotate a little bit in this midfield. He's using the forwards quite a lot, but he's been a bit restricted in that with the injury to Jota. But other than that, he's been rotating them a lot. Gakpo's played an awful lot on the left, but Diaz has gone in up front. Nunez has gone in there. Chiesa is starting to see a few minutes. And we've been asking for that because we're kind of like, listen lads, we're 21, 22 league games in now. We've a big run in coming. We're still in the European Cup, 2 domestic cups. We need to move it around. But when you look at the back four, he's playing Trent when Trent is fit, right?
Yeah.
He gets Kanate back as quick as he can because he wants Kanate and Van Dijk every possible game. Is it telling to you that he's doing this rotation and to the point where he can't choose between either left back? But part of me is thinking, is he sure about either of them now? And that's me way overthinking it massively, because I think if he was sure of one of them, he'd just play him. Because that's his
Yeah,
form. That's his form, especially in the back four.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Conor Bradley has done brilliant when he went in there to deputise for Trent when he was injured. And we all have our opinions on Trent about his ability to defend. But when he came back, he's been back in the team. Do you know what I mean? Like it's quite telling that for this season, Trent will be the number one right back, and Conor Bradley will just pick up games and minutes here and there for the rest of the season. Joe Gomez being injured means that Ebel was rushed back from injury and will be played. And look, best centre back pairing in the world by a mile for me, Van Dijk and Ebel. So you play them as much as you can. I'd like to see a little bit maybe of, when a game is dead filled, maybe whipping Ebel off or even Virgil off. If you have an able deputy that can go in there and do it. Kwanzaa at the moment, for me, I think he's very, very capable as a good squad option centre back for Liverpool. I think he will develop really well physically and all. He looks like he's there. It's just a little bit in the mental side for me that I don't know if he lacks confidence or he's too confident and too casual with some of the mistakes that he makes. But for me, I don't think you can really trust him at the moment to go into centre back. But if you're 4-0 up, you could probably throw him in. Do you know what I mean? So I think the centre backs are going to pick themselves, and I think the right back is going to pick himself. But you're right, the left back, he's not sure on them. And look, we all saw the pictures of supposedly Jarell Hato at Liverpool yesterday at Anfield watching the match. And Jarell Hato is a left back / centre back, and is the ideal player for me for Liverpool going forward, in the sense that you want players that are multifunctional. Do you know what I mean? Kerkez has ruled himself out.
I've stuck that up there. Is that he ruled himself out?
Well, apparently he came out and said something like that, but
I think that was more of a rumor around Kerkez going to Liverpool this January. Liverpool supposedly made a bid, and we're going back. But I think the comments from him in "I won't go to Liverpool," I think that might be "I'm not leaving."
I think that was to fans, wasn't it? Outside the thing, I'm not going to Liverpool. I'm not going to Liverpool.
He was doing it on some YouTube channel or some.
I think with him, it could just come down to the price. You're buying from a Premier League club, or you're buying from an Eredivisie club, and I would imagine Jarell Hato would be half the price. And the thing with Hato is he covers two positions, and I'd like to see. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd love Liverpool to sign Kerkez. I think he would be the ideal left back for this team, or certainly maybe for a Jurgen Klopp team. Like, he looks very like the type that will bomb forward and get up and down like Robbo did in his pomp, but it's interesting to see the Hato link. It's interesting, that there's other players.
You've mentioned him before, so I don't know who this guy is, right?
Well, Shawnee actually mentioned him when we were talking about the summer, when we were saying, who would you bring in, what players would you bring in, and Shawnee
I think you mentioned him a couple of weeks ago then as well.
Yeah, he's a player that we've liked. Yeah,
but was it him at Anfield? Because Dan Austin says, is there any mileage in this Hato rumour? I don't even know what position he plays. I'm with you, mate. I don't watch him.
He's only 18 or 19, but he's a left back who plays centre back, or a centre back who plays left. He's primarily a left back who plays centre back.
I did see somebody saying he's only about 6 foot tall.
Look at Yuri and Timber at Arsenal, similar sort of thing, a centre back, full back type of thing. But he's really highly rated. Like, he's usually rated. I wouldn't be worried about only being 6 foot tall. I think, as I say, Timber is a player that's sort of done that. Nathan Ake at Man City, I think, is an absolute brilliant squad player that they've had over the years when they were winning, and you can dot in a centre-back who can play left-back. I think it's brilliant. I think he'd be an excellent signing if it happens. But the fact that he was at Anfield, I don't think it's a January deal. I think it's probably a deal in place for the summer. But look, if it is, it's the sort of profile of player that you'd like to see Liverpool. He's a young player, can develop. If you move on, let's say Tsimikas, and Robbo is still there, you gradually put Hato in. You're not relying on a younger lad to go in and just make the position its own. If you bring in Kerkez and you have Hato, you're saying, right, you drum out the other two, which is harsh, but you move on from the other two. You put Kerkez as your left back, and Hato covers for him and covers as centre back. There's options there, but I think it is telling that the left back position, it's where we're linked with players, and now seemingly we have a player over visiting. on a match as a guest. So I think there's a lot in the fact that doesn't seem to be a lot of maybe trust for the two boys who are there.
Yeah,
But
I just think it just surprised me the amount of rotation he's putting in there.
yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, if he was playing Simicast every game and throwing Robertson into the likes of Lille and PSV to come up and Plymouth, you'd be kind of going, right, Simicast is
that's
his
telling.
man,
Yeah, writings on the
and
wall.
fair enough, or if he was doing up the opposite and doing Robertson, but he's not. You see Simicast play Brentford, but then you think, well, then if Simicast is first choice, surely Robertson plays Lille, but he doesn't. He leaves him out and then he plays Robertson yesterday. And then it'll be interesting to see who plays during the week, because Bournemouth away is next weekend. And I would
Yeah,
presume whoever plays during the week, the other person will play against Bournemouth. Sort of way, because if, say for instance, if Robertson plays during the week against PSV, I would put money on Simicast starting against Bournemouth, because that's
yeah,
Robertson getting his 2 games and rotation starts again. Ashley says that Kirkes was on a YouTube channel and says, I will not go to Liverpool. For everyone listening, I will not go to Liverpool. I wouldn't take much notice of that. I know it's coming from him, but I think that's more of there was a big thing the other day about Kirkes, Liverpool, January bid, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it'll ever happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of Hato, and I don't know anything about him, I'm just saying that sort of move is one Liverpool look at, because I've said it a couple of times. I'm not too sure if it is going to be Kirkes. If you're needing to bring in a couple of players, 50 million quid on a left back is a lot of money. But then again, Kirkes may have the ceiling that 50 million will feel like it's a really good deal in 3 or 4 years. So I'm a bit like Kyle Walker when he goes to Man City for mad money from Spurs. It might be even 50. And
yeah,
he's had a brilliant career at Man City. No matter what you think of him, he's had an
yeah.
amazing career at Man City. And
Trophies to be
yeah, and
defined.
he's gone off to Milan on loan, isn't he? So there you go. Um, into the
Someone
game.
asked, does
Yeah.
Hato play for the Dutch national team? Yeah, I just checked there. He's got 5 caps.
Okay. I know.
For the
Honestly, I'm
national
not
team.
gonna. I'm not gonna try fucking tell people I know anything about him. I've never seen the fucker play.
He's only
Um,
18, you know what I mean? So he's 6 foot, but a lot of development that can happen there. So it's one to watch. One player that we would like, that I'd like, and I know in our WhatsApp group it came up, is Dean Huyson of Bournemouth. I think he's one to
oh yeah,
watch. The Spanish
yeah,
centre back. I think
and the
he
rumor is
looks
that
quality.
he has got a release clause which kicks in this summer. I've read that.
Yeah,
Bob says Kirk as a United fan. Listen,
yeah, you read that. Yeah,
I've seen stuff saying Kirk as a United fan, but then I've seen his best mate in football is Dominic Soboslai. So
exactly.
listen, it's my 50 million on a left back isn't a lot of money. City spent 50 million on a full back 8 years ago. That's the going rate for proven Premier League players who've got 10 years in front of them. The club needs to stop thinking like that. Oh, listen,
I
I've no problem.
disagree.
I've no problem with the club spending 50 million quid. I have no issue whatsoever. But I think if we're looking for another midfielder,
Yeah,
possibly a striker, they might think of going somewhere else with a little less money to spend more money somewhere else. And listen, we all think they should spend loads of money. We absolutely do. But they usually find these players where you go, right, okay, and it works out well. We have to trust them in it. But listen, Kirkes, Hato, we'll see what comes of it. Into the game though, I think the front 6 or the midfield 3, front 3 kind of picks itself for me. I thought it was always going to go that way.
yeah,
And listen, I think the midfielders play really well. I'm very
yeah,
concerned at the fact that Jones, right, they're saying he's touch and go with PSV, but my worry in all of this is that if we lose a Szoboszlai or we lose a McAllister or Gravenberch or even a Jones for 3 or 4 weeks, I think it'll show that we needed someone else. That's just me. But don't get me wrong, Endo, Elliot come in, they've done all right when they've come in. But Keith, the biggest thing that stood out for me, before we get into the goals and players and stuff like that, the biggest thing that stood out for me was Liverpool from the off. In control, no sloppiness, pass, keep the ball, take care of it. When the chances come along, take them. They make some great chances. They take those chances. The application for me was excellent. And I can tell you, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, I could say any of them, he had an excellent game. And people go, well, what did he really? But he did. Because
yeah.
they went in, they were ultra professional. They looked after the ball. They played with intensity. They didn't give Ipswich a sniff. They won the game. That's an excellent game, Keith. And I thought the application was brilliant from everyone from the start.
It absolutely was, Gav. And I think the midfield is something. Look, Curtis Jones, I like Curtis Jones. Some people don't like Curtis Jones. I think he's an excellent player. But for me, this would be Liverpool's strongest midfield. And I think they all right, take the opposition into this. We've seen before where Liverpool have started slowly and have maybe not imposed themselves on a game, even playing against teams that are lower down. And sometimes it's hard if teams are going to go and park a bus. But the three lads in midfield yesterday just went about business and didn't give Ipswich a chance. Ipswich, they're not a great side, but they'll battle. Your man Kieran McKenna is a very highly regarded coach. So he'll set his teams up, you think, to do a job. To me, falls in under this breed of Vincent Company Shyhawks that just go in and set their teams up to be ball playing because he knows he get a job out at the end of it. So I don't know if it's the most conducive style for the newly promoted team going up to the Premier League, but he does sort of have a bit highly regarded and tactical now. So, and I think Liverpool just went about and done the business there. I mean, I'm looking here, all three of them had a passing success rate into the 90s. And that's what you want from your team. Your midfield players look after the ball and your midfield players make things happen. And that's what these three do. And they do it in a way that if Ryan Gravenberch sits the deepest and picks the ball up from the centre backs and plays that sort of deeper role, but he likes to go forward and he likes to carry the ball. It's one of his strengths is carrying the ball, get out with tight space and carry the ball. McAllister will naturally sort of cover him. So it's not like McAllister's always trying to go forward. Szoboszlai, to me, if you can name me a harder walking midfield player in the league, you'd be doing well. Because for me, he walks his balls off. But yesterday we saw him starting the game and we see him getting the goal and we see him creating and we seen the best of Dominic Szoboszlai, in my opinion. Not as saying it's his best game. Again, you take the opposition into account, but we saw the function of that midfield and we don't really have the ability to rotate it as such. But even still, I was happy that when we got the goals that we did make changes. We did bring Endo in there. We did bring Harvey Elliott in and we were able to rest them because I think it's really important that we keep these lads fresh, that we keep these lads ticking over because if you look at Gravenberch, everyone's panicking that we don't have a player like Gravenberch to cover him. And look, we don't. But we didn't know Gravenberch was going to be Gravenberch, So we just have to hope that we can get him through these games. But I would like to see us managing them minutes maybe a bit along
No,
these games coming up.
in fairness, he manages the minutes the other day or yesterday. He takes people off on 60-ish.
Yeah.
And, Elliot comes on, Endo comes on. Who was the third sub?
Endo,
Nunes?
Elliott and Nunes came on 68.
Yeah, 68, which was a bit later than I expected. I would have went an hour. Right, listen, we're making these subs.
Off.
But when I look at it, no matter who you're playing, if you step off a couple of percent, whether you're home or away, you're top of the league, wherever it might be, you can get hurt. And Ipswich have got players that you've seen at times this season when teams show them a little bit of a lack of respect, they can get these players into positions that they can run at you. They can find the lap. The lap was poor, but I think he was made look really poor by two centre halves that just absolutely dominated him from start to finish.
He wouldn't have a sniff against those two. Like they'd eat him up. That's fucking
and
food
they did,
and
they did eat him
too.
up. They absolutely eat him up, and that's a really listen. He's a very young lad. It's a big learning experience.
And he's a good player.
Curve for him, but if you step off these things, we're sitting there on Saturday and we're going, we're 1-0 after fucking 11 minutes here, but Jesus, they've had a couple of breaks there and we looked very open and it just didn't happen.
No.
Because Liverpool just went, no, we're keeping the ball, and if you have the cheek to get it back, we're literally going to stand there centre halves in your half and we're going to say, right, what can you do? And they just could not find a way out. But the patience from Liverpool, even when we won it back high, we didn't go looking to go for the throat. We didn't. We said, right, no, just play it back. Just keep playing it. Keep playing it. Keep playing it. And it's such an underrated thing in football because I think earlier on in the season when Liverpool showed this control, like Brentford, right? I always think back to Brentford because I was at the game. And I watched that game from more or less pitch level, right? Really low on the Anfield Road lower. And the thing for me was, When Liverpool had it, they kept control of it. When Brentford got it, Liverpool picked their times to go and get it back. If Brentford managed to get into Liverpool's final third and Liverpool got it back, Liverpool went, right, Grant, we're keeping it for 5 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes. And that's a long time in football. 2 or 3 minutes running around after the ball is a long time. And what happened was, come 70, Brentford had not got an ounce of juice left in them because they were chasing. Everything was hard work for them. They were chasing. And I think Liverpool have lost that a bit. Now, we've had really good results. We've had really good games. You look, see where we sit. This is not me giving out. It's not me, kind of going, oh, we need to do. But what I'm saying is, the other day yesterday, I keep saying the other day, yesterday against Ipswich, look, they're one of the worst teams in the league. We see that. But it was the attitude to go and win the ball and keep the ball and look after the ball and make that team run. And you mightn't see the fruits of your labour in the first 60, but you will 100% see the fruits of your labour in the last 20 and 30. Without a shadow of a doubt. Don't care how fit a team is. If you look after a ball constantly, 90% pass rates from these midfielders, these teams can't live with you. Yeah. Because you have the ball for most of the time. You have the position on the pitch the majority of the time. And you have the better players. So as they're getting tired, your better players are looking to influence it. And just throughout the game, I was just so happy with the way we applied ourselves, because how many 3 o'clock Saturdays you go into and you go, this is shy, this is fucking slow, Liverpool are lax, the atmosphere isn't great at 3 o'clock, the players look a bit off, they're just taking it too easy. They didn't. Quietly, they just went really efficiently about their business, and I love that about them.
It was the most comprehensive first half you'll ever see, for Liverpool. And, look, we know Ipswich didn't put up resistance. And the midfield, they had your man, didn't they? That was a City, Calvin Phillips. Yeah. For me, he's a busted flush, that lad. He's probably 30 at this stage. And the other lad, Marcy, in midfield, he's in his 30s. Who?
Calvin Phillips.
I'll better have a look.
He could be. I'd say Calvin Phillips is probably around 25.
29.
Is he?
Yeah.
Jesus, I thought when he was at Leeds, this is the next best thing off the rank at Leeds. Must have been 21. He's fucking 29.
29. And a ragged career, you know what I mean? Again, I'm sure he'd whip his medals onto the table and say, eat that, but, they're hollow medals. I wouldn't be putting much credence in that. And the other lad, Marcy, is 33. So, they never had the ability to get really anywhere with that midfield, and Liverpool just had total control from the start. It's again, I agree with you. It's the most control that we've been, because we've lost that element of controlling the games that we had earlier in the season. We've been giving too many early goals away, or putting ourselves a bit under pressure too much from poor starts, or not even poor starts. The likes of Forest, we start okay, they get their first attack and score, so you're on the back foot. Whereas yesterday, it was just dominance from start to finish, and if anything, it looked too easy. It looked too easy for them.
It did look too easy, but when it looks that easy, sometimes players can think it's that easy, and all of a sudden it can change very quickly. And that was my big thing on the game. Goals. Let's talk goals, then we'll talk players, or we'll talk a bit about as we go along. The first goal, again, Liverpool looking after, they switch it across to Konate. You're thinking Konate's just going to play one out to Trent and keep the ball, but he doesn't. He plays a lovely pass into it. Into a Szoboszlai that literally, his movement demands it, where he's going, I'm running there, you need to give it to me. I've made them, we've dragged them, and now I'm in that space that we're trying to create. He gets beyond. Calvin Phillips just lets him run. He gets beyond him. He takes one touch inside, and it's a good left footed finish down bottom right hand corner. And I was delighted for him, because like you said, he's walking. He's coming up with the odd goal here and there, but that felt like the goal that we've been nearly imagining since he signed at the club. Now, we know we can hit a football. We know we can fucking slaughter a football. But that one where he's ran into space, good touch, good finish, just kind of marauding through midfield. I was absolutely thrilled from him.
Yeah, it was a great goal. And the thing I liked about it was he didn't try to manipulate it to his right foot so he could fucking welly it. Do you know what I mean? He takes the touch, takes it inside onto his left, and plays it into the corner. Excellent goal. Szoboszlai is an enigma of a player. People think he's one thing. They're saying that he's actually something else. But then, he has the old sort of skills of a winger or a wide player that he would have played with when he was at Salzburg, Leipzig, and all these sort of things. But when you look at him playing for Hungary, he controls games, he dictates games, everything goes through him. And you'd like to see him doing a bit more of that at Liverpool. At Liverpool, it looks like, not that he's Genie Wijnaldum in the sense that Genie was the workhorse. That's not fair on Genie, and it's certainly not fair on Szoboszlai. But if we can see more of that from him in games, then I think you see the real player. And I think he's coming in for harsh criticism personally. And people always jump in and say, "Oh, well, Arnie Slot criticised him." Arnie Slot just said he'd like to see more goals and assists from him, but I'm sure he never criticised his work ethic or his work rate. But if we can add that in there, it's just another arm, weapon to the armory. That's it, weapon to our army. I'm great at the old science. Yeah, well, God, I would have said another, weapon to our bow, and that's just not right. Not right at all.
But I would have taken off, and everyone would have just said that from now on.
Yeah, a weapon to our bow. What's he on about? Fucking idiot.
The thing, it's funny you mentioned Wijnaldum, because when Wijnaldum arrives at Liverpool, people think he's this, breaking from midfield. He gets. I remember one goal he scored in Newcastle, might have been a header, and he breaks from midfield and it's flashed in, a great header, he scores, and you're kind of going, oh, we're getting this guy, he'd break from midfield and he'd be getting beyond the front man, he's all action. And then Liverpool just went, nah, no, we're not doing this. What we're going to do is we're going to put you into midfield, and we're going to make you a number 8 in midfield, not a 10-ish midfield, an 8, and you're going to shuttle, and you're going to be physical. And what we're going to use you for is the odd time he does get beyond the front man, the odd time with Liverpool. Do you remember when we beat Arsenal and he breakaway goal and Origi puts it across the box at the Kop end, he slips one home, and he gets beyond forwards, heads one in against Man City, famously the one against Barcelona. But he did do that often enough, I suppose. But a lot of Gino Wijnaldum ended up being this strong, press-resistant midfielder that could walk up and down, very rarely lose the ball, carry it up the pitch. And Szoboszlai, when he shows up, you're thinking, is he a 10 that controls games? Is he a 10 that, is he a bit of a luxury? He's a great shot on him. He's a decent range of passing. He's an eye for goal. And I think people
jumped at Gerrard, didn't they, and thought he's Steven Gerrard.
Because when he starts last season, I compared him to Gerrard. I said to him, he looks like a Gerrard type player. And the reason I did it was because the way he moved. He got into that position where Gerrard played in 08-09 with Torres, and he was getting in that position and he was spraying passes and he was running here, all action. And the way he even kicked the football, the way he passed the football was very like Steven Gerrard. But what you're seeing with Szoboszlai is that they've said, listen, we're not going to curb that attempt, the shots, the range of passing, the eye for goal. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a load of work into it. So what you're going to do is he controls the press for Liverpool. Dominic Szoboszlai does be telling Núñez or Diaz, you stay there, I'm going to press this. I'll go in there and press that. The two boys will back me up. You're going to cut off the other centre half. Salah's going to cut off a full-back, and we're going to make them do something. And they've just added a load of work to him that I don't think we expected from him. I don't think we expected that work ethic.
Olivier says up there for that back up, that he doesn't do that for Hungary. He doesn't press for Hungary. I know. At Hungary, he's their main player and everything just comes through him. But what I mean is, you'd like to see, we didn't expect that pressing machine that he turned into, that he's, become the trigger, he's become the Lallana, the Firmino type, that kicks off that press. But if he gets that other side in as well, that he's not just focusing on press, if he starts saying, right, I can press the bollocks out of all this, but I can also get on the ball and I can make things happen. And if we see that, then the world's his oyster, you know what I mean? He has the world at his feet if he can do that.
Yeah, and Dicos is nowhere near Gerrard. Sorry, Gerrard literally won games himself. No, what I meant by that is that he looked an athlete. He looked an athlete that had a range of passing. When was the last time we played with a 10? An actual 10. You're going back to Coutinho. After that we didn't. We just went 3 in midfield. They're going to walk. What I meant was he was really athletic, strong runner, good range of passing, great shot on him, eye for goal. And the way he just moved reminded you of Gerrard. I'm not saying he's
we hadn't compared him to Steven Gerrard.
But I just think when you hear Slot saying I want to see him get more goals and assists, to be fair to Szoboszlai, he could turn around and go, well, listen, just play me in the 10 where I don't have to do anything and I'll get loads of them for you.
Yeah.
Well, no, you have to go and do all this. Fine, I'll go and do all that. And Slot saying, go and do it all, but I still want you to get this. And it's just pushing people to do more. But yeah, a really good finish from him, and I was delighted for him to get on the score sheet, because I think he's deserved it for his work over the last little while.
Absolutely, yeah.
Salah makes it 2. Just ticking over. Good move again. Comes inside. Cross. I'm trying to remember who came inside. Gakpo. Cross. Who's on the scene? Szoboszlai is making a run into the box. It goes over him. Yeah. Salah takes it down. I've seen a few, Chris included, and others, saying they didn't know whether to celebrate or not because he didn't know where the fucking ball had gone. But Salah takes it and just into the roof of the net, right across the roof of the net, to make it 2-0. And there wasn't any nerves, Keith, but that settled it. That settled it for me. Listen, boom, game's over.
It's a great finish. Like, it is, it looks routine. Do you know what I mean? But he just wellies it into the blade roof of the net, and it's very good. Your man in goal, Walton, fucking John Boy Walton would have been better off in goal for him for all this fella done. But he didn't have a chance. Mo Salah from that range, you would expect. And look, Mo Salah, I don't think he's been playing well. I think he's been fucking brutal for the last while.
He's been on the periphery for the last few weeks.
Yeah. Snatching at things, and I don't know. He's entitled to a few off games, let's be honest about that. But it was nice to see him get that goal and taking it clinically. But I get what you're saying. It doesn't, you're not nervous, but that literally, if Ipswich could have said, look, wrap this up, we're out of here, we'll take it 3-0. We'll boycott this in FIFA, we'll forfeit this match and take a 3-0 defeat. They probably would have been happy to do that. But I'm glad Liverpool sort of just kept on them. No, you don't want to see teams getting absolutely spanked. Well, you do, but you don't like to say it. But I'm glad Liverpool sort of just kept at them. And, it's another attacking player. It's Mo Salah. It's the ultimate attacking player that we have. It's one of the greatest attacking players the Premier League has ever seen, despite what people think. And he just doesn't make a mistake and he punishes them. But that's on what minute? 30, is it? Or is it 4:20 or is it?
I'm trying to remember the minutes. But,
it's on 35.
Yeah, puts the game.
So the first goal's on 11 when we go to 35, yeah.
It's 2-0. The game's over for me. Ipswich are doing way too much running here.
They're doing nothing creative. They're just
no creative.
They're fighting for their lives.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the score down as best they can. And Liverpool,
they lost your man as well then to an injury. His name Wes Burns. It looked a bad one. He goes in, he tried to upend Gakpo a bit, and it looked like he might have done an ACL. People might know. I haven't looked up on it today, but they're losing a key outlet for them, and then it's like once he's gone, it's fuck that.
Yeah. When it goes, like I said, when it goes 2-0, that's enough's enough. I think Ipswich are probably looking for the exit, because this could get hairy, very, very quickly. But we make it 3, and Gakpo's on the score sheet. And the thing about this for me is that I love the movement again.
Yeah,
I love the movement. I think it's Trent has it. Szoboszlai makes that move, and when Szoboszlai makes the move, if you watch the goal back, Diaz is at the back post, and he's probably thinking he might put a cross in here. Szoboszlai makes that run. Trent finds him. He's trying to be really clever by not putting too much on this, just playing it across the keeper. Keeper gets a hands up, but there's your left-sided attacker in the middle of the goal, ready to tap it in. And that's the bit that delighted me about the goal. I was like, yes, right in the middle of the goal. That's our left-sided attacker tapping it in. We're not missing these. And Gakpo's quietly having an outstanding season, isn't he?
He's excellent. Yeah, he's fucking brilliant. I've always liked him, to be honest. I think he's very intelligent. I think he's not a winger in the sense of
Sorry, Gravenberg's pass. It was a Gravenberg pass, not Trent Jerry.
Gravenberg gets it in, yeah. Is this the one where Tuanzebe is playing them all on side? There's 3 of our lads in a row.
Yeah.
And the Ipswich line is here, and your man Tuanzebe's about 10 yards behind them.
Yeah.
Doing his best to keep them all on side.
Szoboszlai just sees the gap and he
takes the shot, a little snapshot, and then it gets panned out. But I think Gakpo, he's not a winger like Diaz that's going to, get the head down and go to the touchline or anything like that. He's a very cerebral type of player. He's very smart and he cuts in and he works hard and he's got the big physique. And you would expect that, he would be the type of player if you're playing wide left because he's got them instincts to come inside that he'll always get in into the centre. He reminds me of Doug Cout in that sense. Now, I know Cout was more of a centre forward. He'll do a nixer on the wing for you. But I always loved that Cout always anticipated in the box for shit that'd break down like that. And he gives me that sort of vibe as well that, he's not standing on his heels waiting. He's anticipating. And I think it's a great trait to have from a wide forward. We won't call him a winger, we call him a wide forward. But he's having an excellent season.
He is. And he's and the funny thing is, I think he's still growing into it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Gakpo going, he's on a real rich streak here and kind of last. He feels like he's playing consistently very well, and he's popping up with goals, he's popping up with assists, and you feel like there's more to come. So I'm not kind of looking going, when he falls off, we really need Diaz to be back on this. He's not blowing the place away, but he's doing stuff really, really well, and he's a real 8 out of 10 consistently. He's doing his defensive work. He's a threat going forward. He's getting goals, and I think there's more to come from him. I genuinely think there's more to come from him. It's 3.5 time. It's more a case of how many, rather than what way is this result going to go? Yeah. It is definitely a case of how many. And Liverpool make a 4 through Gakpo again, and I want to touch on Trent here. Trent seemed to have a lovely time yesterday playing.
Yeah, he was great time, didn't he?
He was given the freedom of Anfield to do what he wanted. And in fairness to him, or in fairness to Ipswich, as impressed at times as I've been with them, you can't be letting Kanate square the ball to Trent 30 yards from goal in that little area and nobody coming out and going, listen, I have to break me balls to get at this fella because he's going to hurt us. And he does. He puts a peach of a pass in, and it's a great header, and it's 4. And I genuinely feared for Ipswich then. I actually thought this could be 6 or 7.
Yeah, you're right. People criticise, and look, I've done it as well. I'm guilty of it, criticising Trent's defensive abilities and his lack of, intensity of running back when there's a break and he sort of trots. But one thing you can't question him on is his delivery of a ball like that. And there's nobody that loves the corridor of uncertainty more than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And to be giving him a ball on a plate that he can put in, I love them types of goals. I love, even Arsenal, Havertz gets a header that he misses yesterday, but it's a great ball in and it's just bang. I think them goals are brilliant. West Ham got one as well today, actually. That back post header, bang, bullet and in. And I think Gakpo has got a few of them now. Like, his variety in his goals is excellent. He gets tap-ins, he gets long rangers, he gets headers. He gets an awful lot. But Trent putting in that ball, we say it all the time, Trent's a unicorn. There's nobody like him. There's nobody like him in the world. You could say Kevin De Bruyne is like, but Kevin De Bruyne is an attacking midfielder. Trent's a right back. Steven Gerrard was a central midfielder. Or he could play right back as well. But, these were attacking players or players that done that damage further up. And I know Trent doesn't do it from right back. He is playing in those same areas. But to be doing it and having to be defensive, I do give him too much of a hard time as well. But when you see that coming off, and it does come off quite regularly, it's a joy to behold. And then you see his chances. He hits the crossbar. He has another shot from distance that just whistles by the post. He looked like he was hungry for a goal himself. And it didn't. Post, yeah. It doesn't come from. But look, it's not the hardest fixture. And this isn't about Trent. This is about Liverpool in general. It's not the hardest fixture. They all would have been gumming for more goals. And I think the subs happen then just after that, don't they? Let me check. So that's on 65 and we make the changes on 68.
Yeah.
So it's Endo on for Gravenberg, it's Nunes for Gakpo, and it's Harvey for Dom. So, 3 subs, I think, can not break your rhythm, but it can sort of maybe slow down what you're doing. Sometimes you can go the opposite way. You can just keep the foot on the throat and go. But I think Liverpool were more interested in just getting lads out, giving lads a break, getting other lads in. And then essentially, by the 80th minute, we bring on Jaden Dans for Alexis McAllister. We're essentially playing with 5 up front because Harvey isn't really playing in midfield. It's like Endo's in there on his own.
Yeah.
Elliot is he's pushed
He's
up
not there on
really,
his own.
really
He's actually
high.
in midfield. He's actually in midfield with Van Dijk and Kanate because they're
Yeah,
so high up the pitch. Like they spent
exactly.
Van Dijk and Kanate spent the vast majority of the second half in particular in Ipswich's half.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They didn't have to pan out for them when they were getting the ball at the back. It was just like, just put the camera there from the halfway line to the Kop and we'll see everybody on the pitch. It was mad. The players that come on though, you know, Elliot's okay. I thought,
yeah,
but
he's
do you know
all
what I'd
right.
like to see from him in these games? And maybe the game is it's 4-0 at the time and it's hard to keep a tempo going. And maybe the
Yeah,
players that you're coming on to are like, mate, we've done our job. We're just going to fucking wind down here. I would like to see Elliot put a bit more, you know,
authority in
yeah,
him.
and a bit more, fizz it around a bit more, try a few things a bit more. But then again, you know, I've seen people giving out about him going back the other way and stuff like that. Endo, by the way, is that a sending off for you, the one on Endo?
That's a yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Fucking upends him like he's kicking him into the chest. There's no ball there to be won, despite what the commentary was saying. You know, it's an honest attempt to play the ball. He's going through the fucking player. You know, he's. Look, we can all say it should be a red card, and people say, "Oh, if it went against you, it'd be hard done by." But no, I think if you're kicking players into the chest like that, it's a fucking red card. But you know,
The
who
only,
knows what's a red and what's not these days?
I mean, get on to that in a bit.
No, we will.
The only thing I would say is I think he goes to go with his foot and realizes he can't and tries to stop. I
Yeah,
don't think he
but
actually jumps straight in them, but it is. I think I wouldn't, if it was a red card, I wouldn't say it was a red card for malicious play, or I think it would have been just dangerous play. You know,
yeah,
it's
and there's all
dangerous
these
rather
big
than
caveats, isn't there?
malicious. You know, the sort of way.
Yeah,
I do think,
and that's what he said, wasn't
in
it?
fairness to the
Like,
player, and was it his debut for Ipswich, that guy?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So he's probably a bit, you know, full of adrenaline. But I just think when I see it again, he kind of goes with the foot and then goes, I can't get there. Takes the foot back, but his momentum just brings him into Endo. And you can, do you know what? If it was 1-1 at the time, I'd be fucking screaming for a red. But
yeah,
the nature of the game, the referee probably thought, listen, we don't need to fucking send this fella off as well.
yeah,
You know, maybe that comes into referee. Maybe that's a bit of common sense. And listen, you see that in grassroots football. Team are getting beaten 4-0. You don't need to send your man off. Otherwise you're going to be blowing the fucking whistle and tipping off another 5 times. No one needs it. Maybe that's where it comes from. But we constantly go on about the laws of the game. These are the laws of the game. You have to stick with them. Like if he does that in the first minute, you send them off. You can't just do it because it was early in the game. But I think that might have swayed the ref and VAR where they went, they're 4-0 down here. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But it probably is. I would say the argument for a red is dangerous play. Dangerous play.
yeah,
Jonathan says Trent's effort can't be faulted since the United game. I agree. And
yeah.
to be fair, we got a bit of criticism for lashing Trent over after the United game.
Take on the
And
chin.
and to be fair, I still stand by anything that was
Yeah,
said about, well, that I said anyway, about Trent, and I know the lads would,
yeah.
about Trent after that game because it wasn't good enough. But having
No,
said that, since then, yes, the effort's been there, the performances are up. That's all you ask for. That's all you ask for. And if he goes into that game on Saturday, puts all the effort in the world and should have 2 assists, but 2 of his balls are manky, should score, but he misses a sitter, you go, yeah, it happens, but his effort was brilliant. That's all you ask for.
by the way, I thought Endo was very good, and I'm glad to see him getting a run. It's like Slot is starting to maybe trust a few more players with more minutes because up till now, Endo has just really been, you know, the 89th minute, get on there to shore up something, you know, and I think he's been very professional. I'm a huge fan of Endo. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a battler. He gives you his all, doesn't leave anything on the pitch, and we seen, you know, a good 25 minutes from him yesterday, and Chiesa, right, he comes on late, but again, we're starting to see him getting introduced into games. You know, we're starting. It was very
In
much
certain
maybe.
situations only, though, for me, Keith.
Oh well, yeah, I wouldn't be, you know, going into the Bournemouth game and saying, right, Freddie Church, you're starting.
Yeah,
None of that. It'll
yeah.
be,
Or Endo,
you know,
or Endo even.
But I don't think we've done enough of that. That's one criticism. And I'd say the same for Klopp as well in previous years. You know, you'd be winning games 4-0 or whatever. And you might have like a Jaden Dances on the bench, throw him on, give him 10 minutes, let him have his, experience. And I think that's how you work a squad when you're winning games, not when you're not looking to, you don't want to, if we go and start Chiesa, Nunes up front on next week, you'd be like, whoa, what's this? But I think in games when you need to get them up to speed, because we're in the business end now, we're going into the business end of the season. You need your squad. You need everybody to buy into what you're doing. It's what Klopp was brilliant at. Everybody would run through walls from. And I think for the first few months, Slot was like, right, I trust you, and you're going to get me to where I need to get to. And now we're starting to see a little bit more of the other players coming in. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we won't see much more. But I think Endo was a player we could utilise a bit more. I'm not saying to start instead of Gravenberch, but I'm saying in a game where you're winning and you have control of, you can put him in there and he can do a job.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I don't think he suits what we're trying to do long term. But I've no problem with Arne Slot turning around for the rest of the season going, we're 3-0 up after 65. He goes in and Gravenberch comes out. And Gravenberch is literally only playing 2/3 of the games, for the rest of the season when you put it down to minutes. That's what I think you should be doing more. And that's where you protect yourself. The reason why I keep banging on about midfielder is that we don't have a backup to Ryan Gravenberch that you would comfortably put into that team and go, yeah, absolutely fine. Doesn't matter what the circumstances, doesn't matter what the team is we're playing. And that's why I think we need one. We won't get one in January, but I'd like to see. I'd definitely 100% that has to happen in the summer. Just has to, in my opinion. And people there are saying about the red card. I'm not saying it wasn't a red card. I think it's dangerous play. I think it is a red card, but I think the situation where the team are 4-0 down is probably what saves him. To be fair, I think if that's 2-0, I think he goes. I think if it's anything 2-0 or worse for Liverpool, he definitely goes. But I don't know what minute that happens in. They're 4-0 down.
It's 85, I think.
Yeah, it's late enough. And I think they probably just went, look, he doesn't.
81. And Ciso gets the yellow on 81.
Yeah, we don't need this. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not a red card.
It was nice to see Alisson making a save, wasn't it? Yeah. The header that comes in and he flicks it, because all joking, like he hasn't. I haven't been impressed with him at all since he's come back from injury. In fact, I think he's being fucking disgraceful. And people are like, "Oh, what do you mean?" The likes of the Spurs game, right, when Kwanzaa had a bit of a nightmare of a game. I'm looking at that and I'm like, Alisson keeps putting him into trouble with his passes. He's giving him balls in scaldy areas, and Kwanzaa's having to try to deal with them. The goal against, what goal was it? It was the Lille goal the other day. He doesn't get up quick enough. He doesn't react. Whereas he's brilliant at that sort of thing. So I think he's been feeling his way back in. When I say disgrace, I just mean it's not what we expect. I think he's our greatest ever goalkeeper. I know that people would say Ray Clements. I don't think Ray Clements holds a torch. I think Alisson wins just so many points.
I don't know.
It's longevity, Gav. It's longevity in an era when Liverpool were dominating.
I know.
Alisson
if you go back,
is a transformative player.
I'm
not going into this shite about Ray Clements has so many games. Ray Clements was a great keeper. I mean, man, dad, like, went to Liverpool matches before I was born. They grew up knowing sort of what,
I watched
and I watched all the old stuff as well. But for me, Alisson's the best. Alisson's the best. He's a match winner. How many headers to get us into the Champions League has Ray Clements scored? Fucking none. Game over. Alisson's the best.
That's true. But the thing is,
people will argue and will have their opinions, and that is fine. That's fine. It's a conversation of two here. It's a conversation of Alisson or Clements, whatever way you lean. My point is, when he sets them high standards for himself, it's really hard to accept some of the shit that he's been doing, in my opinion. Someone's saying Grobler was brutal. Will you stop?
Grobler
was a terrible keeper.
Davey, the Newcastle fan, is asking about Grobler. Right, I've watched loads of video of Ray Clements. He was unfucking believable. Ray Clements as a goalkeeper. He's in an area, yes, where Liverpool are dominating, but I think he's in a much more physical era. Where he has to get in, he has to catch stuff, he has to put, wherever it might be. He was outstanding, Ray Clements. Now listen, if you sat there and said Alisson and Sean, he said then, said, no, I think Clements. I just go, yeah, lads, just agree to disagree, because
Well, that's it, exactly. It's
Anne says, no, it's not even a competition. Clements all day.
yeah,
for
but Anne, I don't know Anne, right? But I know Anne is an older bleeding lemon here because she's mentioned a few fellas from the
Yeah, she
glory
does. She
days.
said, and she also feels that
So
no
that's
team.
what I mean. That the older fan base, like my own parents, will say Clements.
Yeah.
Younger, more recent may go for
Anne also
Alisson.
said earlier that this team or
I
any
think she
other
might have come
Liverpool
to her
team
Hansen or something.
doesn't go near the 87-88 team, and I think that's hard to argue. I think the 87-88 Liverpool team is just majestic.
I think Klopp's prime team beats that
Do you?
hands down. Yeah,
Do you?
I think it runs through them. Just think it runs through them. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love the 87-88 team. I used to watch the video of the
Yeah, but
Mighty
John
Reds.
Barnes playing for them, so he'll
Yeah,
whoever
no.
John Barnes is playing. Somebody did say there, right? We can go on about Alisson, but Jesus, imagine having your man Sanchez in goal.
Yeah,
we get to all that in a minute.
We've had a few of them in our time.
Grobbelaar had some serious fucking saves in them as well.
I did, but
you know, he was very positive in what he does. He's very proactive in what he done. And Grobbelaar, you know, everything in the 6-yard box was his. Nobody had to head it. He came out and done it. And then he kind of falls off a bit of a cliff for Liverpool. But he was a really good goalkeeper. Clements was, Jesus, what the videos of watching Clements, he's mad good. And we know what Alisson is.
Glenn Parsons hits the nail there. He watched Elijah Scott growing up, and he was quality. So there you go.
Yeah, good man, Glenn. At 106 years of age. 87-88 team didn't fulfill its potential. Should have won 3 doubles on the spin, says Maria Keith. In fairness,
I like that.
Yeah,
they should have.
Yeah, they should have. The 87-88 team is amazing. They should have won the League and Cup double in 88-89, but the whole situation around that is extraordinary. I'm not even talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about Hillsborough and stuff. How they even come out and play football after that is beyond me. And
the Wimbledon thing was just fucking.
Yeah, the 87-88 team was just mad. Just go and watch them against Forest. Watch the final against Forest. It's fucking stupid.
I know. I love the 87-88 team. That was my favourite team. That was the pinnacle of Liverpool for me because, like, you love John Barnes. I loved Peter Beardsley growing up. Peter Beardsley was my favourite.
What's your best Liverpool team of the Klopp one?
The team that sort of won the Champions League and then won the league. That for me was the best team.
Yeah, I think 18-19 is Klopp's best year. His best team. Yeah, brilliant.
The Champions League winning team. I think that team would beat the 87-88 team. Personally, I just think. It's hard to compare the eras. Really hard to compare the eras.
It is, because different styles of football.
Different styles and different
they're all
attributes.
Athletes now. Yeah, they're all athletes now. And
the 87-88 team are smoking and drinking. Do you know what I mean? Like, these lads are physical specimens.
Yeah, and listen, it's absolutely okay to say they're all deadly. And sometimes you don't have to compare them. Just say, brilliant.
Yeah, and if you prefer one over the other, again, it doesn't mean you don't like the other. It just means you prefer.
Yeah. Before we get back to Liverpool, let me get your reaction to a couple of things over the weekend. The red card for Lewis Skelly.
Oh, Gaslight FC again, are we?
So, is it a red card for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
People jump in and say, "Oh, well, that's biased because you're a Liverpool fan." We have a friend who is a referee. Obviously, he's not a Premier League referee. Did I see him in the chat?
Yeah, he's in the chat.
He's in the chat, right?
He's under some sort of alias again.
Yeah, something about Dermot Gallagher.
Oh, sorry. Thor asked Gav, Sadio Mane or John Barnes, give me a break.
It's John Barnes.
Fucking break,
John Barnes. And someone else says, Keith, Steve, Peter Beardsley wasn't a patch on John Barnes. He was just my favourite. You know what I mean? My favourite.
Sadio Mane was an exception for Liverpool, but John Barnes...
Barnes is in Liverpool's all-time.
It'll take something unbelievable to get me to move John Barnes as the best ever left-sided midfielder for Liverpool.
But that's what I mean. He gets in. He walks into the Liverpool greatest 11, whereas Mane are like.
And don't get wrong. Mane does it for 6 years at Liverpool.
Love Mane.
He does it in 2022. Does he leave 2022? Yeah, but John Barnes all day for me. Thanks.
Yeah,
and that's probably me just being biased because of the era, but honestly, unbelievable. But anyway,
the red card. I think it's a red card. We were speaking to Carlo, right, and we came to the same sort of conclusion on this. It's a studs up challenge high above the ankle, right? It's not a clip. He doesn't just clip a break.
So
The
he's
clip
not.
is
He's not. So he's not actually doing them for a
stopping a break.
stopping a break. He's doing them for the
Dangerous
style of the
play.
challenge.
I'd imagine, and Carl's in the chat, he'll probably confirm that, right? It's a studs up challenge and it hits him high. And I was looking at it again today. Arsenal fans are trying to give you stills of hitting the foot, ignoring the fact that he
It
started
starts
up
up under his knee.
well up bleeding higher than that. And
Yeah.
I think whether you agree and think, oh, that shouldn't be a red card, we had to suck one up last year with Curtis Jones against Spurs, where Curtis Jones went for the ball and rolled over the ball with no force and went studs above the ankle on Yves Bissouma. And we were told it's a red card. Intent doesn't matter. It's dangerous because it studs above the ankle. That was more reckless. It was more dangerous. It was more aggressive. It was studs up. It was high above the ankle. Arsenal have this complex now where they think they're the voice for the voiceless. They think they're the people's champions and everyone's against them and they're going to be the plucky underdogs and they're going
And
to fight the
they couldn't
power.
be further from it if they tried.
Oh, exactly. But they're going to, every week after does a decision. Last week, one of their players handled the ball in and they tried to say it's a conspiracy. They had William Saliba drag the fella down and running through on goal that was going straight down the middle and he said it was a conspiracy. Declan Rice got sent off because he blocked a fucking free kick from being taken, which everyone knows is a second yellow card. It's a conspiracy. Like everything with them is a conspiracy. To me, that tackle yesterday was a definite red card. If you take all the other stuff out of it, it was a definite red card. As in, if you take yourself as in the circus that goes with Arsenal, there's no way that's not a red card. Like it hits all the criteria. But the problem is, and why I think they're going to get away with this. Mike Dean said, "Oh, that'll get overturned on appeal." You have pros going on. I watched Match of the Day last night, and Shearer and Murphy and Lineker. It's never a red card. It's never. That is a red card. It's a fucking red card all day, every day. And if you can, I can show you the fucking proof that it is. So someone will need to tell me how it isn't. Do you think it was a red card?
I didn't.
But you do because I'm convinced, and that's fair enough.
I didn't, to be fair. And I did tweet about it yesterday saying, listen, it's Arsenal fans telling you it's a conspiracy. It's not. It's just incompetency, because that's what you have to get used to as a football fan. The incompetency only gets louder depending on the club who it's against. You know, it's not a conspiracy. Don't give them the credit. Don't give them credit. You're giving them way too much credit if you think it's a conspiracy, because you haven't got it in them to fucking, to think up a conspiracy and carry it through. They're fucking idiots, right?
Yeah.
So let's get that out of the fucking way quickly, right? For me, when I looked at it, I thought it was a yellow.
Well, I didn't think it was a red until I saw the slow down footage.
But having said that, I thought it was in a yellow because, and this is my own naivety, I think, and maybe I'm wrong on it. I possibly am wrong, and I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong. I probably looked at it in the sense of, listen, he's stopping a breakaway. Where the fuck is the red card coming from? Because I didn't see it live, and I heard people saying, he's got a red card for stopping a break from Wolves. They're in their own half. And I was like, what? But then when I look back at it, in fairness to the referee, the tackle is a straight-footed, studs-up tackle. It starts high up the calf and finishes on the ankle. If he does that and he stands on your man's foot, he gets a yellow. Yeah. But the fact that he's high and he's out of control, it probably is a red. But I can see the argument that they go, listen, it's a yellow. But having said that, I'm not taking the argument that it's a conspiracy, because, again, you're giving these people way too much credit.
It's exactly. But I looked at it because I was watching it and they were flashing to the goals, and you look at the instance and you see it and you're like, how's that a red card? Because it's about 5 yards outside the Wolves box, or the Arsenal box, or the whatever box it is, the Wolves box. Yeah. And there's two Arsenal defenders behind him, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? That's the worst red card you'll ever see, because he's not stopping a break. It's too far away. But when you see the actual incident, and then you again, Match of the Day, talking about how João Gomez's second yellow was worse and deserved a red card more so. And you're like, well, no, because that was a studs on the foot, right? It was a bad tackle, deserved the yellow card 100%. But the Skelly one was a reckless one, dangerous, down the back of the calf, and You know, that was the clincher. When you're seeing the close up, I'm like, yeah, it's not for stopping a break.
Yeah.
It's dangerous play.
And in fairness to Arsenal, they stayed in the game. Gomez does get the yellow, and I knew straight away when he gets that second yellow and a red, I think Arsenal will win this. But
Yeah,
again, it feels like Arsenal were living on the edge. We'll talk about what Liverpool need to do in a bit, and that might come into it. Davey said from earlier, he says Arsenal fans retweeting a photo of Michael Oliver in his Newcastle top from about 10 years ago, citing conspiracy. And Jono says their journals want Oliver banned from refereeing their games. Oliver has given Arsenal players 8 red cards. Go back and look at the 8 red cards.
Yeah.
Are they all red cards? If he's given 8 cards, 8 reds that clearly aren't reds.
Did you go back and watch them?
I haven't watched them.
Yeah.
But I've
be
also
fucking fuming with him if I was an Arsenal fan.
Well, I've also you be fuming with him if you're.
If I was an Arsenal fan, I would be demanding he doesn't referee games.
That's fair, because
and that's being honest. That's being totally honest.
Like, yeah. And we've done it. I haven't seen them. I don't know what they are. I used to consider Oliver one of the probably the best referee in the league, but there's a weird thing about him at the minute where when you look at the stats and it's not even stats, he's given 8 reds to them. Go and look at the reds, are they reds, and then we can kind of have the conversation. The only thing I would say is that, like, John O'Dare saying that their journalists want Oliver banned from refereeing games, and Davey saying Arsenal fans retweeting photo of Michael Oliver. I've also heard unconfirmed reports that Arsenal fans have been threatening, I think, Michael Oliver's kids. Are making threats. And if that's in any way true, you need to go and fuck off. You're an absolute fucking scumbag, because it's a game of football. It's a game of football, right? And listen, it might mean the world to you, right? But it doesn't mean that much to you that you go and you threaten someone's kids or threaten them or send death threats. And I've seen that. It's unconfirmed. I'm not saying it is. It is true. But if there's any truth to that whatsoever, that's fucking scumbag behaviour. Right, you fucking need to grow up. And listen, you might be 14 and you might think you're cool, but you're fucking not.
But a lot of them aren't 14, Gav. A lot of them are the fucking air age, 23, 24. So
29, same age as you.
But no, all honesty, like Oliver gave the double yellow to Martinelli. Remember that one when he went down the line, fouled someone, ran back, got the ball, but fouled him again, and Oliver came up, yellow for that one, you're off. Yeah. He's given loads, and some of the stuff he's given, I think he's the most compromised referee in the Premier League. I think the decisions he's given in favour or to benefit Manchester City after being paid, for going and buy their own or stuff. And a lot of that has come against Arsenal. Kovacic upended fucking Odegaard from behind, didn't he? And didn't get a yellow card.
Yeah, he should have went that day.
He does
Royce and Odegaard really quick. It's early on the season before last, is it?
One of the years they were.
It might have been 22, 23. It might have been 22, 23. And Kovacic should 100% go that day, because he lifts Royce over and then he lifts Odegaard. And he should go. He should absolutely go. Next Level says Arteta had words with Oliver and paused for a few seconds as if he had something said back to him. I don't know. Arteta's going around fucking saying he's fuming. Fair play, but it's not a conspiracy. It's really not. They don't have the intelligence to carry that out.
We've had this show for years where we felt that decisions have gone against us, and again I'll go back to the decisions Arsenal cry Arsenal about are correct decisions. Like, we had the fucking Odegaard handball that we didn't get a penalty for at Anfield, and we were told, oh no, it's a natural thing. Some of the shit we've had to put up with. Do you know what I mean? But Arsenal seem to think that every decision now is every week. They're gaslighting us to tell us that there's a fucking conspiracy here. They're just not doing their job.
But listen, when we get decisions against us, we always think it's only us. That's just natural, right? When Arsenal get it, they think it's only them, but it's not. Like, we played a game yesterday and a player should be sent off against us, and he wasn't. Now, we're lucky enough we're winning the game 4-0, right? Arsenal don't think they should have a red yesterday. It's not a conspiracy. And it's not just against you. It's happening to every team in the league. And that's not to say, listen, swings and roundabouts, that'll come back to you. You know the way it levels itself out during the season, which is an absolute fucking nonsense. Yeah. It's one of the worst things you can say in football.
We got told that about the Diaz one last year.
Leaving
itself out. You didn't get a red card in this. What the fuck? How's that the same?
Yeah, but Arsenal, you see, I'd have an awful lot more respect for Arsenal fans if they came out and went, we don't agree with that. And the reason we don't agree with that is, listen, Look at when he sent off this player and it was wrong, and it's nothing to do with Arsenal. Look when he sent off this player and it was wrong. But what they do is they find you 5 clips where they go, that should be a red and he didn't do it, and he didn't, and that affected Arsenal, and that referee is a Liverpool fan, and it's like, Jesus Christ, mate, they're all fucking shy all across the country every Saturday and Sunday. They just are. Do you know what I mean? But City beat Chelsea. Could have been 3-0 down. But they beat Chelsea. Marmouche looked impressive. The other fella at the back looked like he was fucking deer in the headlights.
Borat fucking brutal he was.
I was delighted with that yesterday, that they beat them. And not only because I don't like Chelsea, but I don't mind City being on the up going into that Arsenal game next weekend. I think it's
but we
I think
played
it's
them
just
then,
nice.
don't we?
What?
We have to play them soon as well.
Yeah, but I don't worry about us. I don't worry about us playing them. But you see, Arsenal in the situation they're in, I worry about Arsenal playing them. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
If the City I watched yesterday, I think if you're solid against them, I think you'll get loads of chances, and I think that's what Arsenal might look to do. But I was happy with that one. But the big thing, without even getting on to him, look, the new centre back, I couldn't believe Pep put him into that game.
He's only a kid, in fairness. He's only 20. He only got like 6 months of bleeding experience in France.
One of the big things that come out, and it's only tonight, a lot of people in the chat talking about it, is that Ruben Amorim has literally nailed his colours to the mast with regards to Marcus Rashford. There's some quotes that I thought I had there and I can't find them, but he's basically went, fella doesn't want to put in the effort, he's not playing for me. We're probably lacking a little bit up front, but I think he said something along the lines of, I'd pick me goalkeeping coach before I pick him on the bench if he doesn't want to put in the effort.
So he's really running out of time to ship him out, so he's making sure get him gone.
Yeah. Amorim's had a weird week, hasn't he?
Oh yeah. I don't know what to make. When we were linked with Amorim, I thought good coach, but the worry was the new formation. So he goes to Man United, and you're looking at it and you're saying, I was talking to United fans, and I'm like, you could put him, and you sort of ended up on the lineup that he sort of plays. Maybe not Amad Diallo wasn't in your thinking, but you're sort of thinking, he plays wing backs, and they've got Mazraoui and Dallo, and he's got 3 centre backs he can play there, and 2 lads in the middle, Ugarte and Mainu, you think it'd be good, and Bruno Fernandes with a bit of freedom in a 10, it'll work out. The problem is that's when you play FIFA. And these are all a gang of jellyfish, and they don't put the effort in. Like Marcus Rashford, for all that we can say, like Trent Alexander-Arnold's a Liverpool lad, how dare he look at leaving Liverpool? And he might not put the effort in sprinting back all the time because he puts the effort in going the other way. You can't question sort of Trent. You can't really question Trent, what he's done for Liverpool from the minute he came into the team. Like he's delivered constantly. Marcus Rashford's a local lad there. Marcus Rashford came into that team, and I always say he was very lucky to come in. He came in because James Wilson went on loan a week before, and he had an injury crisis, and he got in, he scores, and he keeps scoring, and he does well. But when you get in there and you establish yourself, and you're a local lad, and you wear the number 10 shirt, and, it's a shy team, so you have a chance that they'll build it around you, or they'll certainly build you as part of it, you know what I mean, between him and Bruno Fernandes and things like that. And you see the way it's gone. He doesn't fucking try, but that's systemic of Manchester United over the last few years, in my opinion. And Amorim coming in there now, you're looking and saying, he's coming out with mad shit. The worst team ever, and he's having to apologise and backtrack on that.
But that's the thing, he actually comes out and says, this could be the worst Manchester United team of all time. There's your headline. And then when you ask him about it in the lead up to the Rangers game, he's like, no, hold on, I was talking about, and we're like, no, you literally went out of your way to say that. Now, they get a win against Fulham. Someone said Fulham are awful. Brian says they scammed the win tonight. Lucky deflected goal, undeserved wins against Southampton, Rangers and Fulham, and they're still dreadful. And other people are saying
that's it. The wins are not good.
He should have stayed put until the summer. But look, he's certainly fucking, the one person you didn't think he'd pick on would be Rashford, local guy, blah, blah, blah. Does great charity work, all this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, he's basically turning around and saying, if nothing changes, I won't change, I think was what he said, which means if he's not putting the effort, he's not playing. Rashford posted on Insta after the Amorim quote, simply congratulating the team on the win, says Kev. And he said weeks ago he won't publicly comment on anything. Forget about wrestling for a minute, Keith, before we go. Liverpool sit on 53 points, I think, after 22 games. What do Liverpool have to do here, Keith? Am I going to do this every week until it's done, or we fail, or we fucking achieve, we can, we prevail or we fail, wherever it might be? We're going to do this every week. But what do Liverpool have to do here? Do Liverpool have to set a target for themselves? Do they have to look at the targets other teams may set and go from there? What do they need to do here?
I don't think we can really worry about other teams. I don't think we can look at Arsenal and say, "Oh, what are they doing?" Like, I don't. It's great if they drop points, but ultimately, I don't really give a shit. I don't go into it. It's not like Man City when you are chasing them and you're fucking praying for a draw or something. Like, Arsenal, to me, are not that team. But Liverpool can't be complacent. We've put ourselves in a wonderful position here. Arsenal have had chances to capitalise and haven't done it, but they're actually in a good run of form when you take out their cup games as well. They've won and drawn a lot of games, but they haven't been able to capitalise on where we are. So I think the more that goes on, I think Bournemouth will be a tough game next week. I think we'll win, but I think it'll be a tough game. And then you play Everton. Is that the next league game? Because I know we've a shitload of cup
so
games.
we've Bournemouth at the weekend. Sorry, we play PSV this weekend, then we Bournemouth, then we play Spurs in that League Cup, then we play Plymouth, and then we go to Everton.
So,
and then Wolves, I think.
The Wolves at home.
Yeah.
I think if we come out of that Everton game with 2 wins in the league, and I know you agree, I think that's the marker for they're running out of games to catch us. Right, we have difficult matches coming up after that. We said, right, home game at Wolves, we would expect to win. We play Man City away, Newcastle, Southampton at home, Villa away, Everton Fulham. But when a team is winning and you're expecting them to have a blip, and we still seeing quotes from fucking Arteta, Liverpool will have a blip, they always do. You're chopping down at that tree and you're chopping away at the hope that they have, and they run out of games and they run out of ground. I think Liverpool win these next 2 games. I think they'll win the league. I'm not saying they're a shoo-in for it, but I think what it does is it mentally breaks the team chasing you. And I don't think they're mentally strong, Arsenal. I think they're mentally fucking fragile. I think the way they celebrate goals is a weakness. I think they're shy of, celebrating spawny 1-0s as if they've won the World Cup is a sign of weakness. And I don't think they have what Man City have. And it could come back to bite me. I just don't see it in Arsenal. And I think if they're looking at them 2 games for Liverpool thinking they're the games they drop. They're the games. Because we've dropped in other tough games. We dropped them in Newcastle. We dropped at Fulham. And they were difficult games as well. But I think if we win them 2 games, I don't think we'll be caught. And I think Liverpool need to go into them 2 games. Bang. Go for it. And put markers down. Because Shawnee said it last week, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's the hope that kills you. And if Liverpool just keep winning, that hope dissipates week on week.
Yeah. Well, I've always said that these games will come thick and fast, and they'll pass. They'll go, they'll pass us by really fast. I'm saying there's 16 games left. Before we know it, we'll be saying there's 9 games left, there's 10 games left. They just go in quick bunches. If we win 10 of our last 16, we finish on 83 points. That would be 10 wins and 6 defeats to get you 83 points. And I actually think 83 might win it.
Yeah. I don't think...
I think
what's the max they can get?
I think 92.
Is the max Arsenal can get?
Max.
And what's the max City can get?
86.
And what's the max we can get?
100 and...
Are you sure?
1, I think.
No, are you sure we can't get a max of 93 and Arsenal can only get 81?
We're on 53 with 48 points to favour.
You're the maths man, so
we've a maximum of 101.
You're like Carol Vorderman, you do the numbers, so we'll take your word for it.
101 is the max we can get.
Can we still get 101? Should be aiming for that. So, I don't think Arsenal have it in them to go unbeaten. for all them games. They have to
Do you
play
know
City.
the only
They
thing
have to
that's
play us.
thrown me? The only thing that's thrown me, and I'm with you. I think if Liverpool would go away to Bournemouth, right, and win, and play fucking Spurs and play Plymouth and rest and come back. And people are saying resurgent Everton. Everton had 3 shots on goal against Brighton away yesterday. They played a Spurs team the other day that were fucking horrendous, and they played Villa and they were horrendous in that. They are getting a bit of a manager bounce, but I fully expect Liverpool to go and beat Everton. I don't give a fuck what it is. Merseyside derby, last of Cousin, I don't fucking care. Liverpool go to bigger, more intimidating grounds than that, and the quality we have would kill Everton, in my opinion. It has to, right? And there's no excuse for not going there and winning. And I don't want to hear, if Liverpool go to Goodison and draw, I don't want to hear, oh, tough place to go. And no, I'm sorry. They're not a fucking good side. They've 23 points in 22 games, and 6 of those have been picked up in the last couple of weeks, right? My only anxiety in this is, I want us back on level games with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right?
And extending that lead.
I think if we win our next 2 league games, I think we'll be level on Arsenal with 24 games played. And I think we'll be 11 points clear.
Do they play City at that stage?
Yeah, they play City next weekend when we play Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Right? And I think if we come out of Everton, going into Wolves, 11 points clear, the league is over.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, because Liverpool will sit on 59 points off 24 games. They'll possibly sit on 62 after 25. So there'll be 13 left with a possible 11 points. Right, which means then that if Arsenal picked up all the results, Liverpool would need 23 points off the last 13. And they're doing that. And people will say that it's a tough last 6. Is it? I watched Chelsea yesterday. They're so fucking open at the back. Spurs, not good. Brighton in a terrible run of form. Right? Brighton aren't in a great run of form off the top of my head. Palace will beat Palace. West Ham, not good. Play them at home. Leicester, not good. They win at Spurs today, but that's the way Spurs are at the minute. Yeah. There's big games left. Villa away. Villa drew at home today. 1-1 against the poor West Ham side. Villa can't keep clean sheets.
They were lucky to draw 1-1 as well.
Yeah,
West Ham
probably were. But my biggest thing here, Keith, is you win your next 2, get back on. If you win your next 3 league games, I think you're back on level games with them, and you've been back on level game with them for a game. If you get me,
yeah,
we're on a roll of being on the same games. And honest to God, I genuinely think Liverpool will be about 11 points clear if they win their next 3 league games, and there'll be only 13 left. Yeah, and I don't see anybody touching us. That's where I am on it. But we have to go and win them. Bournemouth have been fucking so impressive recently, missing a shitload of players, by the way, that nobody wants to mention. And we're listening about Spurs and we're listening about, Arsenal make it up, but we're listening about all this, and City are going on about it, and but they've just been, they're in such a good vein of form. They're playing well defensively. They're solid midfield. Attacking wise, Kluivert, Utara, the other guy,
Semenyo.
Yeah. So they've been out of this world, to be fair, for the last little while. But Liverpool have to go there. Liverpool have to play their game. And not that I've no worries about going to Bournemouth, but Bournemouth want to come out and play. And I think Liverpool like teams that want to come out and play. So I just think, for me, if you said to me now, I'll give you 3 more wins in the next 3 league games, but I'm not telling you anything after that. I'm not guaranteeing anything after that. I take it every day of the week, twice on Sundays.
Champions League draw could be big as well when that kicks back in, depending on when the games fall. But that could go for Arsenal.
I've gone blinkered now, Keith, to League Cup, FA Cup, and even Champions League.
Yeah,
that league, I want that league. Yeah. And I think Liverpool have put themselves in a brilliant position. Anything can happen: injuries, suspensions, loss of form. We know all this. And we know, possible frailties in the squad if this player goes out or that player goes out. But that's the same for everybody. And you either have to put up or shut up. You know what I mean? And Liverpool have to do that. Liverpool have to just keep going, keep focusing. Next game, Bournemouth on a great run. Great, let's go down there, give them a game, show our quality and win. Everton, bit of a bounce. They're not that good. Let's go and beat them. Do you know what I mean? As much as Everton are on a bounce in the last game of goals, and Liverpool are trying to win a title here. These players are bouncing into it. And I think we have a little bit of maneuverability there with PSV, even Spurs and definitely Plymouth, where we can go into that game. And, you know, Everton, I don't know who Everton got in the Cup, but Everton will have to play that weekend as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that next two are huge, and I want to be back on level games with them.
Yeah.
Even if it's 9 points on level games, I'm good with that. But I think if we get back to level amount of games, which will be game 24 for us, after game 24 for us, I think we'll be 11 clear. If we beat Bournemouth, we're going to be 11 clear, because I think we beat Everton, and I have a little feeling on City for next weekend. I just don't see anyone catching us.
Yeah. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, and you don't want to be too cocky or too arrogant. But I'm looking at Liverpool, and you know, when we had our blip and we dropped points, you know, Newcastle, we draw 3-3. We're actually excellent in the second half in that game, and it's literally at the very end that we can see that equaliser. And even with Kelleher's mistake in leaving the ball, it's a fucking fluke by Sharp, because he just connects. He's not shooting. He's just putting it back across and it goes in. Against Fulham, we're down to 10 men for 70 minutes. Isn't it 70? Something like that.
We play 90 minutes of football with 10 men
with
against
injury times and things like that. So
yeah,
we actually played very well in that game. And other games, you know, we've the likes of Forest, we fucking battered Forest, but we gave away a silly goal. So even when we're dropping points, we're not, I think Slot came out and said about XG, and you know, our XG is the same as the first half of the season. That we're just not maybe getting the goals that we deserve, but we're still having like fucking 20 shots a game. We just need to take them. And again, going back to Mo Salah, I don't think he's been great lately, but I'm delighted to see him getting a goal from open play yesterday. And hopefully Mo can kick on and he can push. Because look, it could be his last hurrah for Liverpool. None of us know what's going to happen there. So while it might be the last ever Goodison derby for Everton, the last ever Goodison derby for Trent, for Mo, for Virgil. Do you know what I mean? So we can say, right, we don't want these absolute shy hawks to go out getting one over on us and derailing us. Liverpool need to act like big boys and need to go in there and treat them the way they need to be treated. I just think, I can't see teams, we'd have to fall off a cliff. And look, it can happen. Chelsea fell off a cliff. They were up our arse a few weeks ago and they're miles off now, haven't had a sniff. But they were pretenders. They never looked like the real deal to me. Their keeper's atrocious. We barely touched on him with the City thing. He is absolute rubbish. And we said it on this show weeks ago when Chelsea were up there, that keeper will kill them. He's not good enough. You know, so the other teams, it would take something cataclysmic for Liverpool to not win the league if they come through these two games with maximum points. Because you're just in a momentum drive then. You're going to matches and it's like, right, we need Liverpool to fucking lose 6 of these last 10. Where are they going to lose them? You just pick up them wins and you're professional and you don't get too emotional and you focus on the job at hand and you just go through and you get them points.
Yeah. I just think it's, I do, I've been saying this for ages. Win your next two, this could be it. And to be fair, the likes of the Forest result where we draw, I think if we win that, you're kind of going, yeah, grand, we're 8 clear. Even the game in hand, who gives a bollocks? But with the 6, the game in hand matters. And I just want to get back on, I keep saying it, get back on level games with them. And we can't be going, oh, we take that 3, you can't count them as points, just go and fucking get the points. And again, I think you're right. I think, you know, if Liverpool won 10 and drew and lost 6 of the last 16, they'd finish on 83 points.
Yeah.
And I think that might win it for you.
Yeah.
I genuinely do. Because if we won 10, right, and one of those was against Arsenal, Arsenal's maximum
6 point swing there.
Arsenal maximum is 89. So Arsenal could only drop 7 points across the last 15 games to win the league, and I don't think they're doing that. I just don't. And like Nollix too says, Arsenal will get around 78 points. Right now, that's where I see them. That's where I do see them. But look, that's not me getting way too overconfident. I'm still a bit freaked about us still having a game in hand. I want that out of the way. And I know I've said that 40 times now, but that's all that's in my head at the minute, Keith. I can't get it out of my head. But look, we're gonna go. I've enjoyed that. It was a nice chat.
Yeah. Yeah, chat.
Anything else on your mind before we go?
No, nothing. I enjoyed that. It was good to brush over the weekend's action. Nothing exciting or interesting. What about yourself?
No, nothing really going on. I'm doing a show in the morning, the 30 for members in the morning. Gonna have a big chat about the storm.
Ah, yeah, the old storm.
Some of the carry on does be fucking madness.
It was a wild one today.
It was a bit wild
Lashing
today. It
rain
was a
in
little bit of
Dublin. Yeah,
rain
it was
thrown in
fucking
there. The
lashing.
rain always makes it
Lashing.
feel worse, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But yeah, for members, if you want to become a member, you can $3.99 a month. Give it a go for 1 month and see how you feel. There's loads of stuff going on there for members. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'm gonna have a big chat about the storm and other things. At 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm saying it'll be 30 minutes. It'll probably be a bit more than that. I don't know. If anyone's around, I might get them to join me. But that's what I'm doing tomorrow. We're going to do stuff all week because we've PSV coming up, don't we? So we have to do a preview of that, and we'll do a match reaction to that. And then we'll have Bournemouth, of course, which will need a preview and reaction. We'll have all that this week, and we'll have a couple of shows thrown in. People are loving the Football Room 101s where people just go bananas for an hour. Last question, though. Does Ange Postecoglou keep his job, or should he keep his job?
Please God. Please God. I hope he does. He does. He's fucking brutal. They're terrible. Like, what are they, sixth bottom? Fifth, sixth
They're a
bottom?
point ahead of Everton.
Like,
and Everton have a game in hand, which is us. Which they won't
they're
grab.
not going to get relegated because there's too much.
But they're having a good go at it.
They've given her a good bash.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ange is, right, Celtic fans liked Ange because he was in Scotland, and Rangers are pony, and you're winning leagues, and you can talk shit, and you can do a few mad things, and you don't get punished. He came out guaranteeing silverware in his second season because he always does it, mate. You know what I mean? Like, he could win the League Cup.
I'm surprised. It's 11 at night. It's
we haven't got no vacation.
Yeah, I'm very surprised we haven't got no vacation. To be fair,
I think Daniel Levy is too tight to sack him. I think he'll keep him.
Maybe so. And he probably can't get the people he wants, because the people he should want is Thomas Frank or Areola. That's what he should absolutely be doing. Absolutely. He probably can't get them out.
Like, if you're Thomas Frank or Areola, is a job that you go. I mean, they've had a lot of managers. I've seen that they had a banner, didn't they? 16 managers in 24 years or 20 years or something like that. Like, if I'm Thomas Frank or I'm Areola, right, you want to move maybe to a bigger club, but you'd want one with stability. Spurs are notorious for, like,
the arse falling out of it very quickly.
And managers, look at Nuno. Nuno went there, lasted, I believe, in 3 weeks or something. His reputation was in ruins, and he goes to Forest and gets it back up there. So
rejuvenates himself.
Rejuvenate, I like that. Yeah, rejuvenate. You've got all the big words. I'm all over the place. Yeah.
John Berg says 13 defeats in 24 games is relegation form. Yeah, probably is. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens with Ange. We'll see what happens with everyone. I'll be back in the morning at 10 a.m. and we'll be back tomorrow night with some sort of show. We just don't plan them, to be fair. No. We just, on a Monday, we wake up and go, what we do today? That's how it works. We aren't professional in any fucking way.
Like Big Ange.
Yeah, we aren't professional in any way at all. We're making this shit up as we go along. I've been Gav. That's been Keith. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member, do all that messing. Watch us on Spotify, listen, leave reviews, leave comments, leave everything everywhere, and we'll sure to read them all. That's been the Sunday night show. Talk to you soon. Over now.
Go Eagles, go.